Welcome to a very special episode of Cannabis Legalization News. Miggy's hosting this one. What's happening, man?
Holy shit, that's right. What's up? Hey, let's talk about Washington.
What about Washington, man?
Well, I just got that one article that I talked about branding. So it's a combination of branding and Washington News, no?
Washington News, yeah. So what are you talking about? Are you talking that your article? You have an article that you write now? What's that?
So as I try and build content for Cannabis Legalization News, this one took me the longest just because I'm trying to be true to what I've seen. I don't being in our position now that we've get into the media and doing the things. I don't want to be the biased guy who's like, every weed's great. Granted, every weed is great, but you will find occasionally some bad, not so great players. And that's what I was trying to highlight in this article was, some of it's fire and can back it up. Presentation is one, branding. How do they network? How do you outreach? We're a outlaw industry, or this is an outlaw industry. I mean, you and I are just writers and lawyers,
Yeah.
So, this outlaw industry, how do you get into the new market? How do you sway people back in the day when,
what's code words? So like did you talk about who are some of the players that are in the market,
So my favorite ones I start off with, Mad Mark has a great brand here. He embraced the Mr. Yuck symbol. And I just can't get over the
Yuck symbol, man.
Yeah. I just can't get over the fact you're not familiar with Mr. Yuck?
I'm not from the Seattle scene. I'm in the Chicago, Illinois scene. Stupid high-end nerd shit.
No,
what's
Mr.
going
Yuck
on in Seattle?
It's federal, man. Mr. Yuck is a federal, kids don't touch poison type program, like from when we were kids. And so he embraced that little bad face with the tongue out, like kids don't touch this. But he put that on his marijuana, which I thought.
And did this, so is it just kind of like one of those things where he's being ironic?
Yeah. Not only ironic, it's like the same hoopla with the bullshit when we make candies. It's like,
what type of candies? Like, because like I just was hanging out with a friend of mine, and she made these pretty sick gummies. And so, like, have you ever made gummies with like an Everclear and stuff?
No, not with Everclear. I made it with weed, but yeah, again, you can make alcohol fun stuff.
Well, no, like you cook out the alcohol, but then all the cannabinoids stay in.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no. But I thought you were talking about making alcohol like liqueurs. You know how they have like you can make an alcohol type anything.
That's gonna happen. Like there's gonna be a lot of alcohol companies because like Constellation Brands got into the game and all that. So how popular now? When did Washington State go legal?
It was 2012. In our first store, as I'm looking in the Wikipedia. Let me see.
Yeah, you look in Wikipedia, but while we're talking about that, so you said some stuff's fire, and you had in that article, you had a picture of Mad Mark. That's cool, but then you also do have some Washington Bud Company, and we saw that guy over in when we first met each other at Hemp Fest last year. Washington Bud Company's guy was hanging out. What do you think about their weed?
So their weed's fire, and it's their pre-rolls that were shit. And I actually talked to, and it's a married couple that the owner, Shawnee, is who I spoke to. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, sucking on this joint, it was hard. It was like these tiny little pinners. It was 2 little half grams that came in a packet.
Oh, you can't have pinners in a legal state. That's ridiculous. I mean, at least here in Illinois, we have dog walkers, and those are like not even a gram, maybe like a quarter of a gram or a third of a gram. They're tiny little joints, but you can still rip them,
You call them dog walkers. That's awesome.
It's a whole brand. This is another one of their things, Rhythm, but by Green Thumb Industries.
That's brilliant. I mean, but see, and again, pre-rolls it's another niche market again, because I also talk about legit pre-rolls who they started off as a pre-roll company, but now are getting into concentrates and whatnot.
What do you mean? So that some of your growers like literally started off as pre-roll companies?
That was his plan. He used to be medical, and he's
so like, you're medical, you could be a pre-roller.
Well, no, he already had a garden. He already had the experience. And so when he won the license for I-502, he decided, I'm just going to do joints. And I'm just going to do
joints. Picking a lane. Joints.
Yeah. You couldn't find his flower. And it was all fire. His flower was all good. But you couldn't find it on the market.
Because then I tried to you linked to his Facebook page. And then I tried to link out to their actual page. And that's where I got this. So you can grow great fire and still make terrible websites.
Well, or just not keep up with your media presence. I mean, that's another bad no. But see, she's also involved in a lot of as much as she's lacking in the media presence, she's also involved in the like Cannabis Alliance. Goes to all the shows that are out here. You know, they're involved in that way. But there is still the old school, or not old school, new school way that you and I are kind of a part of, right? The online presence.
We live on the internet. My entire business is on the internet. Is the smartest thing that I ever did in business. Like, why would I, set up shop in a place where I'm not online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, when everybody, like, because this is one of the things, why are we doing the stream like this? Because I want to show you, you're doing this, and this is a good start, but then eventually I want you to get to a place. This is my site, cannabisindustrylawyer.com. This was Wednesday. Was that a couple of weeks ago? Was episode now, but like if you like try to search for something like infuser license, let's say. Let's see here, infuser license, Illinois. You'll get me, like no shit, just all over the place, just me, and then that's the goal, so that you can then start, and that's when you could really move your activism, is because people are asking the internet questions, and then if you can figure out what questions they're asking the internet and then answer them, people will start to find you, and then they'll find the show, and then they'll go down and they'll give us a thumbs up, and then they'll like and subscribe. And then Wednesdays at 2 p.m. where they'll be
here
watching. I love this StreamYard crap.
But hey, do it fair. Do that again, but Google Miggy 420, because that's one thing I've been critical on is my own CEO. Like my presence on the internet, my digital profile has been what I've been working on. It's different. See, there we go. Pop up with cannabis news updates and all the other shit that we do. So,
hey, you have a Facebook page.
Oh, that's the old profile. Isn't that wild? That's my 10-year-old profile that got deleted by Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
How about this one? And then WILLIE'S.co. So is Weed News back?
No, it's not back. That must be some what do you call it? When they
that shit.
Yeah. Wow. Fucking Jay Smoker's IT skills are beyond compare, dude. That guy, as an activist, was good to be on our side. So yeah. Oh, what do you got for Thomas Howard Lawyer?
I have a pretty good SEO game myself. Thomas C. Howard. Oh, that's interesting. And there's me, also me.
But web presence is definitely what the fuck? Who just wrote black people should not vote? Oh my god, Jim Bufoto, go suck a dick.
What?
Look at this motherfucker.
Hang on. Are you saying like somebody in our comments is being a complete racist troll?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Let's not even justify that with a response.
What the fuck? God,
hey, that's what happens when you do a cannabis show about Washington State. Why? What is with you guys over in Washington State? You're just too free.
That motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know about free, dude. That's some dumb shit right there, though.
That is some dumb shit. So, go back to what that you wrote about then in the article as well. Is this that Mad Mark?
Yeah, Mad Mark with the Mr. Yuck. That's definitely one of the his great weed, great branding. I thought he knocks it out the park. Yeah,
look at that. That's ridiculous,
dude. His weed's fire, and his branding, not just the Mr. Yuck, but he's got bongs, he's got rigs,
he's got merch.
Yeah. I mean,
and then, what about WILLIE'S? So you guys have WILLIE'S Reserve over in Washington State?
Yeah, and you know how we do it here. They license the farms. You get a license, and you can either work on your own branding or just fucking contract to somebody like WILLIE'S.
Right. And we talked about that, and that's some of the things that will happen with some of my clients that'll come from out of state, and I'm like, all right, let's get you that craft grow license or whatever. If they want to make a producing, I mean, maybe they also want to do like an infusing. So, like for example, Lagunitas could license their brand for their hi-fi hops to whomever has the infuser license. I'm assuming one of the breweries in Chicago is going to be able to get one of those, but yeah, they totally will. And then, it's just so much easier than playing the whole license lottery game,
Yeah, but also too, it's just like in California where you got all these celebrities coming up with their own line of weed. How many of these motherfuckers really are first hands on with the farm? Like.
Nobody is. Nobody's first hands on with a farm. Be honest. Come on. Those growers, that's work.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with WILLIE'S Reserve, I know the company that represents him out here, the personnel, and they truly do go to the farms and they have a quality assurance program. Because I mean, you're backing your name behind the flower. Do
they have farms? Because when I think of farm, I think outdoor. Do they have farms in Washington State, or is it just all indoor?
We got both. But the outdoors are on the east side. And right now it's not the outside time, but we do have both. And then like with Green Barn Farms, the one that I listed, who did a thing with Stick Figure, reggae artist. Their shit's all outdoor, and it's not. You can't find it everywhere because it's outdoor. So, you know,
what's the name of that one?
Green Barn Farms. They did in that Willie's Reserve.
Yeah, they don't even have do they even have a website? I don't see them having.
It's a medium, tiny little like. These guys definitely focus on their garden.
Yeah,
and then they fuck everything else, which I respect. Like their fire, it was fire, dude.
Yeah.
I thought Illinois made it where you can't have infused alcohol.
Well, Hi-Fi Hops doesn't have any liquor in it. All right, so it shouldn't come up then. But yeah, it would not surprise me because it's two separate licenses, and so I don't think that they would be able to. But maybe one day they'll amend that. You know, you could easily make your own infused stuff. You could decarb your weed at home and then throw it in your vodka and then wait a few weeks if you really wanted to, you know?
So, yeah, no, you know what also we got going on here in Washington, which has been happening. I'm going to share my screen.
Go for it.
Let's see if I can not fuck this one up. All right, so let's close this guy out. I had a shop around my house just get robbed.
Yeah, you guys are having robbery problems in Washington State. What's up with that, man?
Well, you know, to my dismay, as I was like, I want the news report that I heard this morning didn't say what shop it was, so I had to do a little poking. I found out what shop it was. The guy was at gunpoint. Green Life Dispensary here. The thing is, this morning, as I heard about that, I thought about there's 7 other shops besides that one. This is the only shop that has no security. So
I can't believe that would never gotten licensed in Illinois or like any other really competitive state because you can't get in without that crazy security system.
But see, are we talking security surveillance or security a guy with a gun hanging out in front of your store?
It's going to be security surveillance. It's going to be like, you know, the cops are hardwired into your shop so they can watch it. And then not only that, you know, locked doors, all those types of things where if somebody's trying to rob you, you can shut the place down. Well, you can let them leave, but then the weed is going to be really difficult for him to access because it's in a safe behind, you know, everybody else, and all the cash is in drop safes. So it wouldn't be a good idea for somebody to try to rob a dispensary in Illinois. What they would wait for is after it gets out of the producer and before it gets to the dispensary. So they'd try to intercept it, and that's when they would try to rob. So the transporters, I think those transporters, those are going to be some bad motherfuckers. And so those guys are going to be the ones that's like, well, did they have a gun? They had several guns. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we have here too. We have,
oh my gosh,
when you go to the conventions, they have marketing people just for like, you know, we're ex-military or whatever. We'll transport either one of the cannabis or the money in between here and there. You know, that's a whole niche market because it's just like a jewelry store, right? But you know, if we had the Safe Banking Act, don't you think this wouldn't be?
Well, yeah, but then there was the funniest flipping story out of my hometown of Peoria over the weekend. Gun store robbed. Like, wait, I thought they had all the guns. You know, oh, maybe they closed. And then so if nobody's there with the gun, that's the only time you can rob a gun. I don't know. But we got somebody for Wyoming on the show or watching. Wyoming Mountain Hippie, do you ever think the equality state, Wyoming, will become a little more equal on the cannabis? I'm tired of being a prisoner of war. Maybe after Montana, but definitely before Idaho. That's what I would say.
Well, and then did you see Tom Angel's article on 2020 expectations?
Tom H's article on 2020 expectations. You talking about which time? I'm a Tom H. It's not me though.
No, I mean Tom Angel.
Tom Angel on 2020. No, share that.
Let me see. Remove.
Let me just help you out with it. There you go. You got it. Now hit Control Plus a lot so you can blow it up and people can see what's going on. But yeah, there's going to be some big ballot stuff coming on. We're going to talk with Jared Moffitt from the MPP on New Year's Day. And so tune in to Cannabis Legalization News. Give this one a thumbs up because you will then get notification. Talk what's going on with 2020 with Jared Moffitt from MPP on Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What's this stuff, dude? So yeah, Arizona, Arkansas, Arizona, they got a high likelihood of it going on to the actual ballot. What else do you have?
So there's Arkansas, Connecticut, Florida.
Florida's going to be fun. I mean, like Florida, of course, with Florida, you have the supermajority issue. And so like a lot of these ballot initiative states, it's 51%. But Florida, you got to hit 60.
Damn.
Yep. What about Idaho, man? I thought Idaho was like legislating back to 1947.
Well, there's presently Russ and the band of the Idaho Cannabis Coalition's out there fighting, getting signatures. They need to collect 55,000 right now. So they're presently doing that because right now, only in Idaho, CBD is the only option they have. Then
so they have medical, but then all they really have is just CBD. So what about North Carolina? Is there anything on there about North Carolina? Because they're one of the leaders of hemp, and they have that. I think it's called Ashland or Asheville, North Carolina, which is like the Austin, Texas of North Carolina. It's just Portland of North Carolina. It's liberal as hell. Lots of hippies, and good friend of the show. Well, maybe he is. He's been on a couple of times. Rod Kite, the hemp lawyer that whenever I have a question, I call.
No, they're not on here.
No, North Carolina. I don't think North Carolina is a ballot initiative state, which really stinks. I mean, like Illinois is not a ballot initiative state. It was a pretty good feat for us to be able to get it legalized. And hopefully this becomes more of, well, here's how you do it, especially if they need that social equity blueprint like injected into it.
But, as each of these states keep knocking down dominoes and CBD becomes a thing and people talk about cannabinoids, I think, it's kind of like you and I are kind of like Chicken Little, right? The fucking sky is falling. We've been doing this for I've been doing it for over 20 years.
I thought like 10 years ago, we had maybe like 4 years left. I'm so flippant. I'm just so stupid.
But, on that same note, though, when I was a traveling technician 6 years ago, I knew a guy in not Montana, Wyoming, as a matter of fact. Me and this guy were just shooting the shit in the back, and he's like, I'm from Chicago or something like that, and I used to be a part of NORML. I used to care, and I just don't think it's going to be happening. And here we are 6 years later, and multiple states have legalized recreational. He's probably, but you've been doing.
We're getting to that critical mass. I mean, like this guy's talking about like Wyoming was actually one of the first states in '96 for the vote. That just happened. That's the same thing that happened in Arizona. Arizona was one of the first states back in '96, and that got shot down by their legislator as well.
And I know Wyoming has a strong cannabis community out there. As far as it's as strong as it can be when you have
400 people in a big frickin' state.
And not just that, the predominant people with the money are the prohibitionists.
Yeah, the oil barons, the Dick Cheneys.
Yes, people who don't want to understand that this is your medicine. They want to think that this makes you a lesser employee or a less than human being.
You're a bad person if you smoke marijuana. I just want to be clear that I really believe that you're a bad person if you smoke marijuana.
Right. I want you to go ahead and just get drunk tonight. Come and hang over tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, and pick up a pack of cigarettes. Can you do that? Thanks.
Yeah. And then handle my big machinery. But don't smoke a joint the night before.
And whatever you do, have a bacon cheeseburger with fries while you're drinking that bourbon and smoking those cigarettes. Because while you're working on that big machinery, we kind of would like you to stroke out. We've insured you for a lot of money.
Yeah, but we're not going to give you health care because that'd be a thing. Kansas, what do they have going on?
You gotta show it. What about Kansas, man? Right next to Colorado. Is Kansas on the list? Kansas, I think Kansas is percolating. When you have Missouri, that's going to start going here really, really quick because they've handed out their licenses, and so now they have to build out, and there's all the lawsuits and crap that'll happen. But Missouri will start going medical, like having patients that they're serving, and then you have patients there, and then you have patients in Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma just the activists just resubmitted a recreational bill, this time protecting medical. I guess the first one didn't protect medical. And so they rescinded it. Now they just resubmitted it with protection. So that's good looking out. And I think Oklahoma's, I used to underestimate flyover states, but I think the internet has brought us together as a nation.
The flyover states now matter because internet. Yes.
But as more of these this ignorance, this tabooness, this reefer madness gets faded away through those states.
Well, those are the states that are standing.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a small hiatus, and I'd just like to thank Comcast again for not sponsoring the show. They do a wonderful job of shutting me down while I'm talking. It's like they know that I'm talking, and they're like, yank it. Yeah.
Well, it's like, oh, he's getting more viewers. We better cut him down now.
Yeah. Remember, we don't talk about the shadow ban no more because we're worried that there's an algorithm out there. But that happened. Like after our Christmas show, we had maybe like 30 subs sucked out of our account. And then not Facebook, this is on YouTube. And also Facebook. Hello, both. But they did have like an update, and I shared that on our Slack channel that it said, for some reason, these things were getting yanked out. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool when you have code that's so complex, the engineers don't understand what happened.
No, it's that goddamn machine learning. And what it is, it's flagging us as bad guys because we keep talking about weed and how good it is.
Weed is good. I'm not gonna lie. Weed is good, especially good weed. Especially legal good weed is good, especially for adults.
Now,
yeah.
The only time it's not good is when we have excess waste.
Oh, that's right. Cannabis is actually not the best when it comes to being environmental, but you have to have an environmental plan in your cannabis dispensary applications and also in your cannabis whatever business applications. You have to have an environmental plan. So they're trying, at least in Illinois, to bring down the environmental impact on the cannabis industry. So hit Control Plus a whole bunch to blow that up.
Control Plus. So this here is Canacycle. Oops, wrong one.
Canacycle, recycling cannabis. I would imagine, right? Yeah, Control Plus. This is welcome to Live How to Computer with cannabis legalization and lawyer Tom Howard. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I have a 2-stack system here, and I've been shit. How do you do this? Control negative then?
Oh yeah. No, I didn't learn the PHP. I've just been on React. Sorry.
I don't have to do shit most of the time. I'm just turning things on and off.
Yeah, did you unplug it? Well,
here we go.
Back in. Yeah.
Did you restart it? So yesterday I went to 7 local dispensaries, and none of them have a recycling.
Trying to loop the product or something?
What's that?
Were you trying to loop product? I mean, is there like a limit, and you just kind of went around to the dispensaries to get over your limits?
No, I just go black market if I doesn't do that. But one of the things here in Washington is the requirements for packaging. It's excessive. It's jars. It's child-proof. It's glass. It's plastic. But we can't recycle in our regular recycle, right? My beer can is recyclable, but not the pot container is recyclable because cannabis touched it, right?
Seriously? So is that like? Because I don't think that's a thing in Illinois. Like if I threw my empty weed containers into the plastics recyclables, I think they would take them.
I would hope so, but I think you'll find out the hard way, which is why I'm excited for our guests next year, the hemp producers. But back to the Canacycle, though. This is a Washington-based company right here. And there's another one. I don't know if they're the same company, though. So this one's Canacycle LLC, Washington-based. Then this one's Canacycle, and it doesn't say anything else, .us, but it says California in the bottom down here, like where they're based out of.
Well, I don't think the word Canacycle. I mean, and I don't mean to harsh on any brands. I have enough brands and people could be like, your brand sucks. Thank you. I appreciate that. But the Canacycle name in and of itself is a fairly obvious kind of like name for a cannabis company that recycles. Not knocking it. I'm just saying it's so, right down the middle. It would not surprise me if more than one person tried to pull that off in different states.
And that's kind of the problem with like branding and because, I don't know if you remember when things were hot a couple of years ago with cannabis legalization and everything was Canna, right? I mean, Canada advisors. Yes. But at the same token, some threaten to sue each other. I know Canna Kids, a charity, that woman sued different or threatened to sue different Facebook groups.
So she used the charity money to sue people.
Probably.
Pathetic.
I try to, when it comes to these charities, some are legit and some are not. It's hard to discern which ones are the good players and bad players. But I'm just saying, so Canacycle, they take our containers and whatever, recycle them however they can. But, I just took it down. That one I'm going to share for later.
Later.
That's a fun one. It's not less depressing and not killing the environment. But
that sounds good.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? This cannabis game is a no-brainer. I mean, if everything was hemp and eco-friendly and done the way it could be,
There's no infrastructure for the hemp. That's the problem. There's no infrastructure.
And it's expensive. Oh,
Comcast.
and Comcast is at it again.
They just know. They're like, hey, he's shitting on hemp production. Cut him off.
He's about to make a point up. Oh, and he restarts.
I would like to thank Comcast for saving my third and fourth marriage.
But yeah, I mean, the recycle thing is an issue out here for sure, dude. And talking to our guests coming up, the Santa, I forget the name, but they're also, not only do they use hemp, but they take ocean plastics and make containers out of those as well.
So they're taking the plastic out of the ocean and making it into new plastic.
Yeah. So, but when you get to when legalization happens in Illinois, I hope for sure to find out about your recycling program, because that'd be nice to know.
Everybody that put in an application had to have a recycling program or a recycling plan. And so a lot of those plans that have been submitted to the state by every dispensary that's going to open had to have a recycling plan or an environmental plan. And then most of them, if not, like, I bet every single one that won said, we will accept, used cannabis containers for recycling at our dispensary. And maybe even used vape cartridges, which are way harder to recycle when it comes down to it. Like,
yeah,
that's got glass, that's got metal, that's got resins. How do you recycle the vape cartridges? That's something that the producers might need to get together on, because how many vape cartridges does GTI sell in a day, or all the dispensaries that are in here? Because it's not just GTI, it's Verano, it's Nature's Grace, it's Cresco. I mean, and then they have how many producers of vape cartridges over in Washington State?
Yeah, and it's not just the vape cartridges, but it's also years ago when dabbing became big, I was like, what? I reached out to Propane to ask him what the increase in sales was from, can you see a rise of when cannabis became legal in Washington, right? From the medical days. Yeah, they don't put up that metrics. They don't disclose that. And I get it, but
no, I mean, like, but I belong to the National Cannabis Industry Association, and so they actually have a report, and it's almost the first of the month, and so I'll get it again after the first of the month, and they'll give us sales data. So they're going to start giving us sales data for Illinois now too, and that's really, really exciting. And when I get Washington State's report next, I'll forward it to you.
Sure. Well, I'm also talking about the auxiliary waste, like the propane tanks, for torches.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen any data on that.
Yeah, there's no way you can get data from that, because not only are they used for camping, but they're used for dab rigs.
So, like, that's right, because when we were at when we went to Hemp Fest over the summer, that had electronic dab rigs. So yes, it was a dab rig, and then you plugged into it, and then magically it would heat up, and then you would have this. I think they call it a dab.
Yeah, no, the E-Nail, they're pretty awesome. Very good for the economy. As I am so jealous you're enjoying a beer. But
oh yeah, it is. And just, I can take time out of my busy Sunday after I watch the Bears win their last game and go 8-8, which isn't that bad. They have Pipeworks Brewery in Chicago. They are not also a sponsor of the show. We really don't have sponsors. But, I guess because of where we're at in our channel subscriber base, we're getting to that point of being what they call a micro influencer, because we have 2,500 subscribers. But Pipeworks Brewing, wonderful stuff. This is Blood of the Unicorn. So I'm assuming that many unicorns died for me to have this beer.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Hey, so on my positive note, because I do have to do some shit this week, let me share this fucking video. So this guy, you gotta let me know if you can hear this. Let me control plus this guy too. See if that matters. Can you control plus video?
Yeah.
Oh, check that out.
You can also hit that button that makes it go theater mode, but that might turn into some weird shit. Yeah, just go full screen. Yeah, go for it. Come on, let's see if we crash the servers.
Shit, yeah, right. Wait. There we go.
They had the defendant on tape selling marijuana to a female undercover police officer.
This is my favorite thing.
So he
gonna play the whole thing because he's about to make the coolest face in the world.
So yeah, so she's reading about a guy who's getting busted for marijuana sales.
Correct. This man has been set up by some people, and it's not good. Now, are you having a latency issue? And is the video not loading for you?
There it goes.
He had no problem whatsoever hitting on the undercover officer on the audio.
Hitting on her.
Trying to pick her up and saying, "Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal."
Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
One of my favorites. And now let's go to the face that he makes after she reads, "Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal." So go ahead and back that up, and let's go to his face. It's the best.
Oh, I got.
Oh, yeah, Miggy is fast approaching the. He's rewinding it. So anyway, I'm not familiar with this. Some guy got set up and started flirting with the person that was going to arrest him, and he used the wonderful and takes a lot of balls to say it pickup line: "Girl, you thicker than a bowl of oatmeal." Now, is that a simile or is that a metaphor?
I believe it's a metaphor because similes like her as, right?
There you go. Let's see his face.
Oh wait,
back it up a little bit. It was just right. It was right before that. Oh gosh, thicker than a bowl. They're asking him, "Did you really say thicker than a bowl of oatmeal?"
But he gives that side glance. That side glance.
It's the best. There it is. That's it. Just that real quick.
I just thought I'd share that because I thought,
"Girl, you thicker than a bowl of oatmeal." I have not said that. I'm just, But
like that's this man's crime. His crime is, for one, selling marijuana, and two, hitting on the undercover cop. So
we look in his defense. Look, he gives.
I'm just saying.
I've watched that so many times and it never gets old. Neither does that Rick and Morty sketch where they're doing the actual transcript of a trial where I think Rick was the judge in it, or maybe Morty was, but it was just the craziest shit out of Atlanta. We have to get somebody from Atlanta on. I can't believe that Atlanta is not yet legal. I mean, that's the thing,
Well, Mississippi, I mean, they're pending, so let's pray for the South.
We are all praying for the South. May Florida deliver them, because think about it. Outside of Florida, what do they got going on in the South? Louisiana actually just started. So there you go. Louisiana, I think, but they might even have low THC, no flower, a pretty crappy medical, pretty crappy medical thing. I think Arkansas. I think Arkansas might have finally gotten flower, but some of these states, that especially in the deep South, they try to start medical cannabis programs without flower. I think like Utah, for example, might not have a flower.
I think the problem is you have too much law enforcement influence bullshitting about we can't.
It's law enforcement. It's not law advice. I mean, I'm not going to lawyer. I'm not. If I want legal consulting, I will go to a lawyer or a legislature. I'm not going to go to a cop.
Well, it's just more like, hey, we just go after real bad people? Why do you have to go after people over?
Hey, let's go get them rape kits you haven't tested.
Anything, dude. Anything. But hey, on that note, I really appreciate everybody that joined us and hanging out with us this long.
Yeah. Because if it's Sunday, we're going to be sitting here talking about cannabis legalization news. And on Sundays, we like to do it more on the activism side. So one of the things we need to start promoting more is having more guests on the show, which can be just a pain in the ass. Because we're already working full-time jobs. And then also to try to book acts. This
is also let everybody know that we might have Danny Danko on. We have
Danny Danko from High Times. Yeah, he's going to be coming on. And then we have somebody from the medical cannabis community that we'll have on probably next Sunday, to be honest. And they have a pretty cool web presence, and they're helping to educate a lot of people regarding the state of medical cannabis. So that's going to be exciting. And then in 2020, we need to have our best gets, because we had Keith Strop this year. That was really exciting.
Yeah.
And then the tuna, that was really exciting. And we had some great guests. And so next year, I hope we have some really crazy, great guests. And then after we get to 10,000 subscribers, then just get the best ones we can. Yep.
Oh, for sure. We're making great headways, and I appreciate everybody hanging out with us as we shoot the shit
about the shit that we like to smoke.
Damn right.
All right, everybody. See you soon.